everyone, Elsie Jensen here. Today we are going to make some breakfast pizza, kind of just different variety of breakfast pizzas for kind of a little brunchy lunch today with some sourdough crust. So let's get our bacon up and frying, and then we're going to work on our kind of like a toaster pastry breakfast pizza while the ingredients are cooking. So I turn my skillet on, and then I'm just going to snip my bacon in here so it can just crisp up quickly, because this is going to be used on 2 of our pizzas. And we're going to make 3 pizzas here. The first one, we're going to do a strawberry with kind of a streusel crumb topping on it, and then a bacon, egg, and cheddar cheese pizza, and then a bacon mushroom pesto pizza. So kind of excited. Will be delicious. There we go. So let's done with this. Let's cut my hands a quick wash. And I'm going to work on our next pizza. So I've got our sourdough pizza right here. We made it up kind of this morning. It's been sitting for a couple hours here. It's just you make it with your starter flour and water, so super easy. I'm going to cut out some circles for our pizza crust that we go on, because I find it's really easy to transfer the pizzas in and out on parchment paper. So I just want to make sure my parchment paper isn't too big. Maybe do a little smaller. And this is, it gives you that nice crispy crust, but it makes it to where your pizza stone in my little pizza oven here doesn't get too dirty. You know, a lot of times when you have cooked the pizza straight on the stone, you'll get melted cheese and everything. But this works perfectly. Okay. Let me grab my dough cutter, and we'll get some tongs. Get those mixing around, crisping up. Okay, so we're going to make 3 pizzas out of this dough, so I'm going to try to cut it evenly. Make a little ball, see how they line up next to each other. I think we're pretty good. So we'll start with our first one, and I'm just going to kind of stretch it out. Sometimes I use a roller on it if it doesn't have a great stretch on it, but this sourdough pizza crust, it typically stretches really nicely, where I can just kind of pinch around in a corner like this and kind of stretch it to the size that I want. Still gives you a nice kind of ridge for your crust, but you don't need to roll it. And this is, again, 100% a sourdough crust. There's no yeast in here at all, or added yeast, I should say. There's naturally occurring yeast. Okay. I'll get it nice. Spread it out. And then I'm going to kind of make my little crust ridge at the end, where I like kind of push it up just a little bit. Gives you a slightly thicker crust there. And for this one, it's going to be super simple. We're going to start with some strawberry preserves. We're going to put it on here. Give it a nice kind of spread around. Do another little spoonful. And we're going to make a kind of a streusel crumb topping on top of this. So it'll be kind of like a pastry, a sourdough pastry pizza. It'll be delicious. Let me give my bacon a quick toss here. Turn it down just a little. We're going to let this crisp up nicely, because this is going to go on our other 2 pizzas. Okay. And delicious. So let's make our streusel. We'll need flour. I've got melted butter and sugar. We're going to do a kind of a light colored streusel, so we're going to use granulated sugar. Sometimes when I want a richer streusel, I'll use a like a dark like brown sugar. We're going to put in about 1/4 of a cup. And We're going to also do start with about 1/4 cup of flour. So 1/4 cup sugar, 1/4 cup flour, and then we're just going to mix it together. Kind of want to use your fingers to start this out because you want to have a nice kind of crumbly consistency, and you're going to need to sprinkle it over your the top of your pastry thing as well. So we're going to add a little bit more of each because we're wanting a nice kind of powdery consistency, but you don't want it too pasty. So do a little bit more sugar, a little bit more flour until we're getting a kind of a nice powdery but has a crumb to it. So a nice streusel topping for it. There we go. That should be just about right. So we had about 2 tablespoons of melted butter in here. And perfect. And now we're getting our streusel topping. And it's nice because when you push it together, it forms. But then when you crumble it apart, it falls apart, which will give you that nice little crunch on your thing. So we're going to sprinkle it on. I always like to make some bigger crumbs on there. And this is just kind of be just a lovely strawberry kind of streusel pizza.
You have a question? How did everyone like the pork tenderloin?
Oh, they loved it. Everything was gone. There was nothing left over. It was delicious. I hadn't made them in a while, so the kids were excited about it. It's one of their, I think, favorite meals that I make. Okay, that should be good. Let's get this out of the way. We're gonna pop this on our pizza oven here. So I have it preheating, so it should be nice and hot. You can see it, little smoke comes up. This is where I love the parchment paper. You can just take your parchment paper and lay it straight on there, and it does all the work for you. And I have mine at like the medium setting, and it only needs a few minutes to cook up. I'm gonna give my hands a quick rinse. There we go. Let's check on our bacon here. There we go. We're letting it kind of crisp up nicely. And then we're going to cook our mushrooms in here. And I'll use a little bit of bacon grease to cook up our eggs for our dish as well. But we're going to let these crisp up. While these are working there, let's shred our cheese. We're going to use sharp cheddar for the bacon, egg, and cheese one. And for the mushroom, bacon, pesto one, we're going to use some havarti cheese. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm just going to take a couple slices and grate them up because I don't have pre-shredded havarti cheese or a block of it. But this works well because you can essentially make your own block. Just take your wax paper out. And this is what you can always do if you ever need shredded cheese in a pinch and you don't have it. Just take your slices and shred them up. They'll actually be better than the store-bought shredded cheese because they don't have the anti-caking agents on it. So we're just going to go through here and we'll give it a nice shred for it. And I will say havarti is a great cheese to use for pizzas because it has such a low melting point that you're going to get that nice ooey gooey cheese pull on it. And it just shreds so easily. There we go.
You have a comment that someone wouldn't have room in their kitchen for all the fun gadgets you have?
Yes, I don't have room in my kitchen. My garage does not house my cars. It houses my 3 other refrigerators and all of my kitchen gadgets. So yes, I will say I collect them and I get a little crazy with times, and I've been trying to be like, I don't need to buy every little gadget now. When I was younger, I definitely did. But I do love certain things like the mini pizza oven, I think is great because it does a better job than the oven. You can do it pretty good with an oven if you have a pizza stone and you preheat it for the while. But I will say I love it. And then I will say my waffle maker and my donut maker. Those are my 3 like random gadgets that I absolutely love and use all the time. But outside, I have like a fryer, a dehydrator, a bread maker. I have so many random gadgets out there. Okay, we've got our bacon just about nice and crispy. So let me get a plate here. We'll pull off these little crispy bits onto our paper towel so they can kind of soak up some of the grease. And then we're going to cook our mushrooms and our eggs with this.
You have a question? Do you know what you're making for dinner?
Tonight for dinner, I'm getting groceries, so I'm not having planned it out, but we will be doing an earlier one today because we got a really full schedule tonight. My daughter, my 9-year-old, has soccer tryouts, and so we'll be gone from like 6 to 8 for that, and then my other daughter has soccer practice until like 9. So I told the kids, I said, unfortunately, we have to have a pretty early dinner tonight because otherwise I won't be home until super late, and that will be no bueno. I'm going to take some of this bacon grease. We're going to pour it in here.
So do you know what you're making for dinner?
I don't know what I said that. I wasn't sure. I'm going grocery shopping, so I haven't 100% gotten that figured out. Okay. So we got our bacon in there. Let's cook up. We have some mushrooms. We just have some sliced. These are just white button mushrooms. We're going to just saute them up in that bacon grease. It's going to give them a delicious flavor. There we go. Give them a nice toss. Let them kind of get coated up. We want them to get a nice little crispy, coloring on them. And then let's start with our eggs over here. We'll start doing a scramble on them. So I'm going to turn on my burner. We've got our bacon grease in here. And then I've just got 4 eggs that we're going to crack and scramble onto it. You don't need a whole lot of eggs. 2 little mushroom pieces. We're going to throw those in there. So we've got 1, 2. Look how bright orange that one is. Must have been from a different egg pack. You always know that was fed a high omega diet. Okay, let me get a little spatula here and we'll do a quick kind of scramble in our pan. Poke them. And we have them in our bacon grease, so that will just give them a lovely flavor as well. And we'll let these scramble up and cook. And then we're going to take a peek at our pizzas over here, because I think our first one should be just about ready to come off. Oh, beautiful. I think it's, perfect. Let me grab, we'll slide this underneath, and we'll pull it out. We've got our first pizza on there. This is our strawberry with the streusel topping on it. And one thing I will say I love about this pizza oven is it gives it that nice hot cook, because it cooks it up to like 500 degrees plus, and it's in a small area, so it keeps it nice and really warm, which gives you just a great little bubble-like crust to it. And it doesn't take long to cook, just about a few minutes on there, and it cooks up just quite lovely. Here we go. Now with sourdough, because there's no sugar in the pizza dough, the crust doesn't get as yellow as a yeast crust. So it stays kind of a blonde color, but it cooks more all the way through, but it is delicious. There we go. Get our next one nice and ready. Kind of spread it out.
You have a question, where can someone find the recipes?
We do upload all of our videos onto our page, so you can always rewatch the video there, and that's probably the quickest way to get our recipes. We do have some recipe cards out there, but most of the recipe cards we have in our exclusive membership thing. But we do have a couple of recipe cards out there as well, but I will say the best way is probably just to rewatch the video. I try to walk through all of the steps of each recipe and how much ingredients you use in each one. So you should be able to make it at home. Okay, let's start building our pesto one. Grab my havarti. We're going to take some pesto. My favorite store-bought pestos are either Costco's Kirkland brand, love it, or Rana's in the refrigerated section. They all, I think, have a nice fresh taste to them without an overly pine nut or, taste to it. A lot of times that pine nut can get a bit sulfury in there, but I find that these are just great.
Yeah, question. What does pesto taste like?
It is, if you've ever had fresh basil, it's like a mix between like Parmesan-y basil. It's a salty, savory flavor. But they make it typically with Parmesan, oil, basil, and pine nuts. And you kind of blend that together for it. It is a delicious, savory spread that is great to use with pizzas or just other, like a different twist on things. Okay, we're going to take our crispy mushrooms. We're going to put some on below. We'll save some to go on top of our cheese as well. But I like to have that nice layer, but that bacon makes them just lovely and crispy. Let me give my eggs over here a nice stir. They're scrambling up beautifully. Turn them down just a little bit. Then we're going to take a little bit of our bacon. Sprinkle some of our bacon on. We'll save a little bit for the second part. I'm going to turn it up. I got that one off. Now we're going to take our havarti cheese. We're going to spread it over. Nice thing about havarti is it bubbles up so nicely. It's got a really nice melting point. So it will be nice and creamy for our pizza.
Yeah, 2 questions. Did you season the mushrooms with anything?
I cook them in the bacon grease, so they have a lot of seasonings in the bacon grease.
Second question was, do you think adding milk to your eggs does anything?
Yes. So adding milk to your eggs will give you a fluffier, lighter egg if you whip it in there. So a lot of times, I have in my family, everybody likes their eggs slightly different. So some like it with either milk or water in it, which gives it like a more restaurant fluffy feeling to it, beats in the air a bit more. And then my mom really likes it if you add an extra yolk, which gives you a richer, more deep flavored egg. But she really likes it that way. Okay, we're going to put our next one on now that our stone is nice and hot. This is our pesto and havarti crispy mushroom and bacon pizza. That will be delicious. I'm going to turn it up just a bit. Now let's get our eggs. Get them scrambled. I will give my eggs a bit of salt because I like to add in, you need to season them because they are a big part of your, like the pizza. So just put about like a 1/4 teaspoon in and we'll mix it up well because you can't, once you have it layered with the cheeses, you can't really add more salt to them. So always make sure you salt them up well. Okay. I'm going to slide this stuff over here because we're going to make our next pizza. Let's get our parchment paper. But do you see how when I transferred off from the parchment, it just moves so easily? It makes it easier than trying to use that really big spatula. My parents have like one of those really fancy outdoor pizza ovens, and I can only make really tiny pizzas on that because I am not very good with the like shovel it on, shovel it off. Otherwise, my big pizzas turn into calzones because I can't get them to quite work out. Okay. I'll stretch this guy out. And you just always want to pull on the thicker parts and leave like the thinner parts to kind of just pull on their own. Looks like my dog just got some cheese. She is very happy, and I think the other dog heard it fall. There we go. So we'll stretch and pull it out. And I will say one thing is also nice about the parchment paper is it allows you to make your pizza the right size. So I remember one time I made a big pizza, worked hard to try to transfer it on there only to find that it was way too wide on one side. And so I had to fold it in half and make it a calzone, which is still good, but worked hard to make it look beautiful. Okay. So we've got ours out here. And now for this, we're going to put our eggs. We're going to do most of our eggs on the bottom, but then we're going to add some more on the top. So don't put them all out there. And I will say I do make a variety of different breakfast pizzas. This one's always a favorite because it's just like tastes like bacon and eggs on, with a pizza crust kind of rolled up in it. But you can make ones with like a sausage gravy in there, or I do like a bacon Gouda pizza, which is also lovely. So there's lots of different, variations. And I know breakfast pizzas aren't really big in a lot of places, but in the Midwest, I'm from Iowa, and they have breakfast pizzas everywhere there. And I remember when I was in college, I just loved, I know this is crazy, but our dorm had the best breakfast pizzas. And that was always excited when they had that for breakfast there. We're going to sprinkle our crispy bacon over. We're going to reserve a little bit to go on top. And now we're going to do a nice layer of cheddar cheese. And I just think that with the eggs, the cheddar cheese just goes so well with it. Here we go. And we'll spread that nice and thick. We want a nice, good, cheesy pull. And then we're going to take our kind of extra eggs, and you want to put them on top for just a little extra, more for presentation than anything. But it makes it delicious. And this was 4 eggs. I will say this is it's a good sized pizza. So 4 eggs on it. And you don't really need much more than that, or you'll have a lot of eggs. There we go. Let's get all of this good crunchy bacon on here. Now let's check on our pizza over here, see how it's going. Oh, it is getting there, almost ready. It'll be ready to go in probably a minute or two. So we're going to slide this over, and then we're going to cut up our pineapple that we're having for our fruit today. I'm going to first steal a bit of bacon. Can't beat bacon. So let me dump this off. There we go. And my pineapple, I say I'm going grocery shopping today, and I was like, this pineapple needs to be cut. It is so ready. I ordered 2 more pineapples to come, so.
Hey, do you have a question? Do you like biscuits and gravy?
I do love biscuits and gravy. I actually have a video of biscuits and gravies uploaded on our page. I love them. Not everybody in my family likes them. So it's kind of hard when only like 2 of us really like them. So I do sometimes make biscuits and gravy I will say the little boys like it. And so not more than, I will say 5 out of the 7 like it. But the little ones, I don't feel like their opinion counts because they'll eat anything we put in front of them. We're going to cut out the core here. And we'll get this core on there. But I will say, if you've ever want to make breakfast pizza, making biscuits and gravy as like the sauce for it is so good. And then you put big, chunks of sausage in there for it, and it's just so delicious. Before we cut these up, there we go. You can see how the havarti is just melting off and getting perfect there. We're going to slide this out. Let me grab my little spatula to pull underneath it. So with the parchment paper, it doesn't get hot, really. So easy to do our little side, but look at just the bubbling from the pesto right there. It's just going to be gorgeous. We're going to put our cheddar and bacon and eggs in here. And we're going to turn it up, let it cook nice in there. Every time I put a pizza in, my trick is you turn the oven up just a little bit. The first one, the oven is nice and hot, but then you open it up and you let the air off. So I start at a medium and I turn up each one. That way it will end perfectly. And we're going to slice these up to go with it because fresh pineapple is delicious. And if you buy it yourself and chop it up, you'll save like $10 a pop because it is, I think you can get a whole pineapple for $3. $3.29 is what I saw when I was placing my order today for my groceries to be delivered. And if I wanted to buy it already pre-cut up for a medium-sized one, that was going to be $12.97. So, and I'll get more pineapple this way. So that is $10. And, you know, we feed a small army every day. So I've got 5 kids and, you know, 3 older ones are off at school right now. But we typically eat 1 pineapple in a setting. Occasionally we'll have a little bit left over, but almost in a whole setting. You know, people always, it gets crazy. Like with this order, it's a Costco order I have coming. I might do a little video of it, show you guys. But I have, I think, a watermelon, 2 cantaloupes coming, pineapple, 4 pounds of strawberries, a pound of blueberries, 2 pounds of 2.5 pounds of grapes, and a big bag of clementines. And that's just for this week. So we'll go through all of that this week in there. And I already have apples. Oh, and I got 2 big bundles of bananas. And I already have apples and grapefruit at home. So that just kind of shows you how much our little army here eats of fruit. I try to give it at every single meal because kids, when they want to grab a snack themselves, they always go for something out of the pantry that's already pre-packaged. Okay, we got our pineapple here. I'm going to save my little cores for Jackie. Jackie loves to chew them on. If you have a little one at home, they're teething, the pineapple cores. They're really actually the sweetest part, and they're great for teething.
You have a question? What type of cutting board is that?
This is, you're going to love it. It's just a good old plastic one. I got it in college during a Secret Santa thing, and I've had it for I graduated college in 2009. So like 15 years. This has like gone through everything with me. It's my favorite because it's not super heavy and it's big. It's a really big cutting board, and it's hard to find them this big now because most of them are smaller on the sides and they just don't work as okay, let's get this right here. So we're going to take a quick peek at our pizza right here. I think we are getting close on there. It is almost ready. We're going to get that bubble up. I'm going to get my pizza cutter out, and we're going to cut up our first sets of pizzas while that last one is here. So the beautiful part of this is it slides right off. So when you're ready for cutting, you can just slide it out there. Also, if you are like keeping it, you can put the layers in it, and it will help prevent your pizzas from sticking together. So this is kind of like our toaster pastry pizza, which is a very different take on most pizzas, but it's going to be absolutely delicious. We're going to even pull up our first kind of slice here. You got it. You see those nice kind of fruity layer in the strawberry. You can use any preserves that you want, but they're just going to be absolutely delicious. And it's a great way to have something a little bit different with your pizza than it is with the traditional, especially if you want to do it for a breakfast, which is a bit of a different take on it. Do a nice little clean so we don't got some jam on here. And then this is my pesto one with the crispy mushrooms. You could have thrown eggs on it and it would kind of taste like a mushroom pesto frittata with a crust, but I think the eggs shine on the other one more. And you see just how ooey gooey the havarti is. Like it just is the perfect cheese pull pizza. And it has such a mild flavor that it just really works well with the pesto. You can't really do cheddar cheese with the pesto because it just is too strong of a flavor. And last, but definitely not least, look at our beautiful, we've got the cheddar cheese melting. And I'm going to slide this under here. I'll go over there. And you see we've just got a nice kind of crunchy pizza crust here. You can even see it like it splits over. So it has a blonde look to it, but it is cooked all the way through. And it has that like chewy yet crunchy kind of texture to it. So we'll pull up. I'll give a nice slice here. And we can pull up here. Cut it all the way through so you guys can see these nice layers here. But look at that delicious pizza. I can see if you can see it on there. You can see the little brown crust. I don't want to pull it up too much so you fall. But let's plate it on a plate so we can have our final presentation. And when I do this, I like to have a slice of every single one because I think it's just delicious. So we've got our pesto, mushroom, and crispy bacon, our egg, cheddar cheese, and bacon, and our toaster pastry one with strawberry jam and a homemade streusel topped, and then of course fresh pineapple for our breakfast brunch today. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us here today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I try to do live cooking shows every single day, show you what we're making for our family, hopefully teach you guys something along the way. We do upload all of our videos to the link on our page. So if you ever want to recreate the recipes, you can just find that video and cook along with again. And then we also offer a membership that has extra recipe cards, more exclusive videos, lots of things about our family as well on there. But again, thank you so much for joining us here today. Don't